The snow fell in heavy sheets, blanketing the forest in silence. Every step sank deep into the white, every breath turned into a desperate cloud of frost. A man, tall but weary, carried a boy of 8 in one arm and dragged a girl of 6 by the hand. His beard was crusted with ice, his coat torn and stained. Behind them, faint but relentless, came the echoes of shouting voices, the crunch of boots, the baying of hounds. They were being hunted. The man's name was Elias Marrow. Once, he had been a soldier, a loyal man who believed in the kingdom he served. But loyalty had a price, and betrayal came from those he trusted most. Now he was no longer a soldier, no longer a citizen, he was an enemy of the crown, carrying only 2 treasures worth more than life itself, his children, Samuel and Clara. The snowstorm thickened, stinging Elias's face, but he pushed on. His lungs burned, his legs trembled, yet he forced himself forward. He knew the land, he had fought battles here years ago. Somewhere deep in the valley was a cabin, abandoned but still standing, where they could rest. Just a few more miles. "Papa. I'm cold," Clara whispered, her voice barely louder than the wind. Elias crouched, pulling her close, wrapping his ragged coat around her small frame. Samuel, though heavier, clung tightly to his father's neck, teeth chattering. Elias kissed both their heads. "Hold on, little ones. Just a little longer. We will find warmth. I promise." But promises were fragile things. He had made promises before to his wife, Ilira, who now lay in a shallow grave beneath the snow miles behind them. He had promised her safety. He had failed. It had begun 3 nights ago, when Elias returned home from his last assignment as a captain of the guard. He found his house aflame, soldiers surrounding it. His wife screaming for the children. He fought like a beast, cutting through men he once called brothers, but too many came. In the chaos, Ilira thrust the children into his arms. "Go!" she cried, her eyes blazing with desperate love. "Take them and run. Don't look back." The last thing Elias saw was her silhouette against the burning house before a blade struck her down. He wanted to turn, to die with her, but Samuel's sobs and Clara's trembling hands pulled him away. He had to live for them. Now, 3 nights later, he was still running. The pursuers were ruthless. He could hear them now, faint but steady, voices carried on the storm. They wanted him dead. Or worse, they wanted his children, heirs to a secret Elias himself had uncovered too late. The blood of his family was not ordinary. Ilira, his wife, was the king's half-sister, hidden away to protect a scandal the crown could never admit. If the children lived, they carried blood that might one day challenge the throne. That was why the soldiers hunted them with such hunger. Not for vengeance, but for silence. Through the white veil of snow, a dark shape emerged, the cabin. The roof sagged under decades of storms, the door hung crooked, but it stood. Salvation, even if temporary. Elias kicked the door open, ushering Samuel and Clara inside. The air was stale, the walls brittle, but it was shelter. He set Samuel by the cold hearth and wrapped Clara in what scraps of blanket he found. He worked quickly, pulling wood from broken furniture, sparking flint until a weak flame flickered. Warmth spread slowly. The children curled together, clinging to each other. For the first time in days, their eyes closed in uneasy sleep. Elias allowed himself a breath of relief. But not for long. He knew the soldiers would reach the cabin by dawn. Night deepened. The storm roared outside, yet Elias sat awake, blade in hand, staring at the fire. His thoughts tangled in grief and fury. He had no army, no allies, only 2 children and a failing body. What could one man do against dozens? He touched Samuel's cheek, then Clara's hair. Innocent. Fragile. They deserved a life beyond this nightmare. He thought of Illyra, of her last plea, take them and run. But how long could he run? Elias rose, stepping outside. The wind cut like knives, but he no longer felt the cold. He scouted the treeline, marking paths, calculating where he might lead the enemy away. If he could buy just a little time, perhaps the children could escape. Inside, Samuel stirred. The boy's eyes fluttered open. "Papa, don't leave." Elias knelt, holding his son close. "Listen to me, Samuel. You are strong. Stronger than you know. Tomorrow, when I tell you to run, you must take your sister and keep running. Do not stop. Do not look back." Tears welled in Samuel's eyes. "But I can't without you." "You can. You must. You will protect her, as I protect you now." The boy sobbed silently, nodding. Elias kissed his forehead, then lay beside them until dawn painted the snow gray. They came with the morning. Dozens of soldiers in black cloaks, their blades gleaming even in the storm. The hounds howled, leading them straight to the cabin. Elias shoved the door open, standing tall with his sword drawn. His voice thundered through the forest, "It's me you want. Come and take me." The soldiers advanced, cautious but eager. Elias lunged, striking with the fury of a cornered beast. He fought as he had once led men into battle, every strike fueled by rage, every parry by love for the children hidden inside. 2 men fell, then 3, but more pressed on. Inside the cabin, Samuel held Clara tight. Through a crack in the wall, he saw his father surrounded, blades flashing, snow turning red. Elias roared, cutting down another. His body bled from a dozen wounds, yet he refused to fall. For every step they pushed, he dragged them back with steel and fury. His world shrank to the edge of his blade, to the thought of 2 small faces waiting behind him. At last, the commander stepped forward, tall and merciless. His strike was swift, precise. Elias staggered, blood spilling into the snow. Still, he swung once more, his blade slicing the air, before knees buckled and the world tilted. He fell to the ground, snow rushing up to meet him. From the cabin, Samuel screamed. Clara clutched his arm, sobbing. Elias turned his head, just enough to glimpse them through the crack, their wide eyes, their trembling forms. His lips formed silent words, "Run." Samuel understood. With a strength born of desperation, he pulled Clara toward the back, through a small hole in the wall. They stumbled into the snow, feet sinking, hearts pounding. Behind them, the soldiers shouted, "Sombrea!" King off to give chase. But the storm swallowed the children, hiding their small forms in white. Elias lay bleeding, the commander standing over him. "You should have surrendered," the man said coldly. Elias coughed, blood staining his beard, but he smiled faintly. "I did not fight for me." His eyes closed, breath fading with the storm. The commander raised his blade to strike again, but it was no longer necessary. Elias Marrow, the last protector, was gone. The snow buried his body, covering the blood, erasing the struggle yet not the memory. Somewhere in the endless white, Two children kept running, their father's sacrifice burning in their hearts. And in the silence of the storm, the promise of a family broken remained, love strong enough to fight an army, but not enough to survive the last winter.